choices the kids have right now, and just being able to jump in to Roblox whenever they get bored and be with their friends and spend time together in a virtual space has been really therapeutic. So you guys are doing good work.
So hey, you're making history with Ready Player 2. Let's roll back to Ready Player 1 because you capture the imagination, I think, of just so many people from so many walks of life. And there was a movie that came out of that, which was also incredible. Does anything stand out for all of us that fantasize about making movies and being in the movies and working with Spielberg? Does anything stand out from that experience for you?
Well, the whole experience stands out. This past year I've kind of been living in my memories of it because I've been in quarantine for a big chunk of the year. I spent a lot of time thinking about what a great year 2018 was and how it just exceeded all my expectations. Really what you imagine making a movie with Steven Spielberg is like, is it's really like that. It's like a dream come true, and I got to see so many things that were in my book, brought to life, including the stacks, like this idea of stacked trailers that I built in my imagination ended up getting built for real. So that stands out to me. I remember driving towards Leavesden Studio in London and seeing the stacks on the skyline for real, and engineers had built this thing that I had just imagined.
When you have this in your imagination and then all of a sudden you see it in the movie in real life, how does that feel? Was it at the point of your imagination, beyond your imagination? Like, how do the two line up there?
Well, in my imagination, I don't drill down into all the minute details the way that they do when they make a movie. You have to dress the sets and imagine everything. So I could walk into one of these stacks of trailers and go into any trailer, and the whole trailer, looked like somebody lived there. And people were living there. For the few days that we were shooting in the stacks, it was filled with extras who were all, dressed like it was 2045. It was just incredible. It was really a surreal experience. It felt like a dream kind of the whole time I was there. So even looking back on it now, I have to remind myself that all really happened.
That movie, I remember seeing it and being scared in the movie theater with my parents.
Yeah,
Uh,
everyone was. Yeah.
was there anything in that movie that you thought like stuck out to you? Favorite line? Anything from it?
You're gonna need a bigger boat is the
Yeah.
line that I always quote all the time. Whenever whenever the tools at hand are not sufficient, that's the quote that I always draw upon.
Now that we're getting into Ready Player 2, in a way, you've kind of contributed a bit to the advancement of VR. And is there any way you can think about how you've seen this pan out in almost real life? For us, in the midst of COVID, like I mentioned, we've seen the virtual birthday parties, people trying to connect, younger people trying to figure out how to, work at a distance even. Have you seen any of this come true in your life?
Well, yeah, I mean, everything happens. Even the news anchors and every host of late night television. Everybody's having to do everything from home, virtually through the internet, including my daughter who's going to school online, and then also in the evenings she'll hang out with her friends in Roblox, um, and spend time in a virtual space there. Which reminds me, she wanted me to ask you if you could get her a unicorn.
I think
Do
there's
it.
probably like hundreds of different types of unicorns, and now
Oh
that
well.
we've opened up the UGC store on Roblox, there are probably people making unicorns, which
Oh, right on.
so absolutely, like,
All right.
high five to that. A lot of people now are talking about the metaverse, and we've also seen people starting to chat not just about going on related to that or any other metaverse related advancements since you wrote Ready Player One.
Yeah, a bunch. So much of what I was just imagining in Ready Player One has since come about. Like the Oculus Quest, I got a Oculus Quest, my Oculus Quest here that I use to hang out in big screen with my friends. There's a VR app called Big Screen where you can hang out in a virtual cinema and with up to like 12 of your friends and all watch a movie together. And afterwards, when you hung out in a virtual space, you really feel like you spent time together. It's really amazing.
Yeah, so we did, like the One World Together concert inside of Roblox, and there was this really interesting thing of walking around with friends, then looking up at the screen. I found myself going from in 3D screen to full screen mode back and forth, and I really like looking over to my friend next to me and like watching it together. I caught a little of that energy, which I think is what we're all hopeful that the metaverse can kind of bring. So I'm looking behind you, um, at your vehicles.
I actually have two DeLoreans hidden back here. So this is my garage where I come for inspiration.
When I was just out of high school, I had a 1969 Pontiac Firebird, 400
Oh,
cubic inch V8, 4-speed. I I know DeLorean is like super favorite for you. Do you use the DeLorean? Like how often do you drive it?
I like to take this car out every night between usually like 8 and 10 o'clock, and listen to '80s music and just like recharge my creative batteries. And whenever I take it out, it always makes people happy. When they're seeing the car. Usually somebody's seeing the DeLorean for the first time and they've never seen a time machine in person. So it's like a traveling happiness mobile.
One thing I'm curious about, those DeLoreans, are they stock or have you had to like modify the engine or anything to keep them going?
Yeah, they're all like 35 years old. They made all the DeLoreans between 81 and 82. So they're all about 40, almost 40 years old now, and they do require a lot of work to keep them running. And then plus adding they obviously don't come with all the flux capacitor and wormhole emitter and all the Back to the Future gear. That's all has to be kind of scavenged and cobbled together. So I've been making it more screen accurate over the years. There's always more tweaks I can do to make it cooler. So it's like a hobby, you know. An old car like this antique is it's a fun hobby to have.
And I think in a sense, I think those are stainless, aren't they? Like,
Oh
isn't
yeah,
the
they never rust. Yeah,
isn't that
they
like the
never.
Cybertruck 4 years earlier?
I know. Yeah, yeah. It's the Cybertruck definitely looks like it took some inspiration from the DeLorean. For a car that came out 40 years ago, it's still the most
Yeah.
looking car there is. It looks like a spaceship.
Hey, so I know with Ready Player One and now with the release of Ready Player Two, your life's probably gone through a lot of change. Mine has too. There was this time before, in the early days of Roblox, it was Eric and me, like two of us, just working on this thing, and then Matt and John joined us, and that was very different for me. That was going in, writing code every day, quiet office. My life's completely different now, and now we have hundreds and hundreds of great people that all work together. How about you? Like, has your life changed?
My life has changed drastically. Since when I was writing Ready Player One, I was working a tech support job. I was interested in technology, but I always wanted to be a writer. But I also was interested in computers, and working tech support was a way to and helping people use computers, and also the job of being a tech support rep. That all worked its way into my novel, into Ready Player One. The way the main character works tech support in the Oasis for a while, and so that was something from my life that ended up informing the story. So even though I didn't enjoy that job at the time, and wished I was working somewhere else, now I'm grateful, that I had that job and that experience because it worked its way into my story. It's like when I was a kid, we lived in a trailer park for a while. Which was not fun, and my room was actually the tiny laundry room of the trailer, and it was just for a little while. But that was something that I put into Ready Player One. Wade
Yeah.
sleeping in the laundry room of his trailer, and
Yep.
the stacks and all of that came from this experience in my real life, and I saw it depicted in a Steven Spielberg movie. So that's something I always like to tell aspiring writers about. Is sometimes you're doing a job in your life, or you're living somewhere that you're not happy with, but later on that could help inspire you to write the story that could change your life. So you should kind of embrace those experiences, whatever is going on in your life, and try to put that into your work.
And I think there's a lot of optimism, in your books as well around the power of imagination. And in effect, the metaverse is built on imagination. So I always take that as a very
Yeah,
optimistic thing for all of us that are trying to create, whether it's music or 3D or imagery.
yeah.
Hey, and then riffing on Ready Player Two. So the number seven's kind of relevant, and of course we're not in spoiler zone here. But hey, is this random? Is there some significance to this?
Like the number three in Ready Player One, three is a magic number. Number seven is a number that comes up a lot in pop culture and in video games. And kind of collecting seven pieces of something is something that would come up in Dungeons and Dragons modules, and also in like Sonic the Hedgehog had seven Chaos Emeralds that were red, yellow, blue, cyan, white, purple, and green. And once you collected all of them, that's what you had to do to, I think, defeat Dr. Eggman and